Uh,
Stop
what?
just in time, that siren over there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good intro, though.
Stopped right at the intro.
It's a siren world. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe part of it got on there because we do wait 5 seconds. Okay, communication to a brother. Is that who he is?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's come into a little bit of question lately.
Okay.
Huh?
Let's see.
I wonder why. Yeah. So let's see what we sent today. See how it works.
All right.
Let us know. Anybody can let us know what they think of it. And haven't communicated since the last letter, which was, well, it says in the title, Martin, been recovering. Hopefully the end of recent undermining, rejection, and judgments that have caused some hurt and harm. Hope your traveling's going well. The thought of you passing through Cincinnati on, of course, the infamous I-75 and not stopping by would be a sorry thought. Right. And if he already traveled this way, I think he flew. I would guess he flew, but I don't know. But he has a rent-a-car right now, so he says. Okay. The home is just 2 to 3 minutes off the exit from I-75 at the Mitchell Road exit, less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes north of downtown Cincinnati. You may have flown there. It's even being more likely if you have the discretionary cash to do that. I'd guess that's how you traveled. Living is giving and giving is living. I've wrote that a lot before in life, but that's not in the letter. Well, living is giving, giving is living is. Life's focus here centers on seeking the mind and heart of Christ, the kingdom of God, full time each and every day for the past 15 years. Here, that's from the morning till evening. There's only what God's given that will support life financially in this world, and that's only for a time. No income coming in here is what that's saying. There's a certain amount of money that may or may not last, but it's what here? Only enough for a time. What is that time? I don't know. What is an age? Person's lifetime.
Period. What is a
what?
Aeon.
Yeah.
It can be a person's period of lifetime.
Right. And or a purpose through which God's purpose is working in a particular way. Biblically, we read aeon instead of the word eternity, which is never eternal, let alone forever and ever and ever and ever. Who ever heard of such a thing? But in the King James Version, I guess they want to press point. They want to push home the point over and over and over, forever and ever, that it means eternity. When in fact, it's not eternity or eternal, it's age. Okay, back to the letter. I live meagerly, never eating out, cooking every meal at home, and writing, reflecting, listening, writing, and speaking with few. Even what people might call occasionally. Now we share that word. I just threw those 3 words in here. All money goes to supporting, giving, and revealing what God's given for the sake of the house of God. Quote, I pray not for the church world, but for those our fathers given to hear and understand, coming to be thankful in all things, as all is to the honor and glory of God. Well, that was a quote Christ said, at least the first part of that. I pray not for the church world, but for those my father's given me. The biological family has been dying a long time and is now dead. All worldly friends of 2 do and have done the same. The house can be as a ball and chain in its way. So rare it is, so few it could be, whereby there are 2 who could speak to support the same in others, who are given to experience the same. For the sake of others, the one true church. What ministers of the world's churches operating in the church world are given to clearly understand this following verse? Now I rejoice in my sufferings for you, and I fill up in my flesh what is lacking, incomplete, not yet done. What isn't done? What is lacking? In regard to Christ's afflictions for the sake of his body, which is the church. Again, it's a question. What ministers of the world's churches operating in the church world are given to clearly understand that? Find me one. Test it out. People have made note of the memory God's given me. The thought of offering a free, no obligation stay in my home just before you were losing your home. This makes an indelible memory. Writing with you about the next morning's show once in advance with details that inspire a comment such as, from you, Martin, you are prescient, would work to compound a God-given impression. So, what's in a meeting? Any thoughts, Ryan? Never mind. How many is few chosen? Let me know. Make a sound. How many is few chosen? When God inspires the word few. Is it 7,000, 12, or 144,000? Question mark. Our Father's creation is creating, bringing forth the will of God through two men. This is true of our Father's way in Christ. When God reveals that many are called, but cannot attend the wedding for the innumerable worldly reasonings that are available to the imaginations, thinking, and wanton beliefs of man, how many, quote, many of this majority is that? How many reasons are there? Well, I'm too busy with the cows, the wheat, or collecting money, or picking up my kids from school. Can't make it to the wedding. Added that. That's given that we truly believe and understand that God's given us all an experience which works, rolls out, unfolds the creation which is creating the God-given purpose. Sharing the following, that our thoughts arise out of the only two directions that there are in life, towards a deeper relationship with God through Christ in us, or away from God. As it is, our beliefs give rise to our thoughts, since we all do, quote, respond to the issues of life out of the heart, out of what we truly do believe, end quote. Beliefs that are in truth, being of truth, always carry a degree of understanding that's true and living in us. Hoping you did drive, but thinking that you probably flew does not deter suggesting that we meet on your way back from mid or northern Ohio, wherever you might be. See, I have no debt and have never really had debt looming over as a pressure. However, with no Social Security coming, let me correct that. But for exactly $100 a month, I have been covering financial demands from what God's providing. As that's always true as it is. I'll add, isn't it? Right. Well, I don't like to just read. The experience of living by God's provisional provisions becomes apparent as what people would call miraculous. When and if we are given lives that enable this truth to be seen, being made more clear and understood by experience. Experiencing our Father's truth is being made more clear this way, out of God's love, of course. Little smiley face. Did you see that silly smiley face sign? Such weak, childish, and silly attempts to communicate the heart behind the cold, dark letters on a lit-up white screen are a sad attempt to show the heart behind the words, lacking a voice. It's little smiley faces, a parentheses and a colon with a little dash between. Voices are being stolen, lost in the tech maze of heartlessnessing technology. Made that world up. In a world wherein the God of this world would be purposefully supporting divisions that divide people alongside the many dividing churches of the church world, we have a condition that continues to isolate, divide, and give rise to human reasons. Endless reasonings which speak in our ears valid. In addition to the persecution, rejection, and secret judgments that work in the minds of humanity, there's just more judgment and rejection to go around for people to act like that, relying on appearances, to live a life instead of Christ, which is to replace what Christ would do, how Christ would live as Christ. Fear, doubt, and worry inherently rise out of that worldly conforming, worldly appeasing, prideful, self-righteous identity, which needs to judge others as though it is right by what it knows and thinks is right in us. It's like a separate identity, as another person talking in our ear. I added that. Here's an update on the dental assistant. Having given her the suggestion to watch your video and subscribe to you, there's more to that suggestion. The dental assistant tends towards having some interest or curiosity with me, inspiring her to see and hear more. No big surprise, she did not go to your videos and did not subscribe to your channel. The suggestion, smiley face, the direction was meant to prepare her, test her in a way, for speaking or hearing with me. If she has an interest or appreciation for what you say, she would be more likely to appreciate support in person, meaning be able to hear me, let alone appreciate. I don't know. That's why I suggested that she go and view some of your videos first, and then she didn't do it. So, I didn't send her to any that we've made. Now, I don't need a dental assistant gossiping and rumoring in the dental office, which those videos would certainly, Ryan, produce some rumoring and gossiping. They all know me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they watch those videos, and I don't know if I'm going to be hung, shot at, or fired as a patient. Maybe some smiles with a little bit of judgment behind the smiles. The secret judgments. What'd you say?
Oh, no, just agreeing.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a sure thing that many people, as the, quote, many called, have a God-given, passing, part-time curiosity and interest in God and Christ, and therefore may have an active display of interest when in truth they've been given no more than an unbeliever, even as a carnal babe in Christ who settles for their lack of anything but the milk of love's truth for life and God-giving freedom and peace. You've seen a lot of this, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
well,
sir.
And him too, the person to whom I'm writing. But yeah, you all of us, yeah. The show, that active display with the appearance of participation, works to draw, keep, and hold many so-called working ministers who are ministering to people in the belief that they have reached the pinnacle of having been saved. Like a done deal, over and done, with an emphasis on the D, as in saved, lacking understanding and maturity, with no need for the essentials of, quote, iron sharpening iron, end quote. You've seen that up close and in many more people across the world who support any of the many 32,000 to 36,000 to 49,061, it's the largest number I've seen, divisions of a prideful, self-righteous, warring, beastly church world. The world is full of different churches that engage and pursue competition with lying doctrines of tradition and deceit, working to appease a strong delusion, quote, unquote, strong delusion. Pride's delusions play the lead role in a prideful, self-righteous identity that learns and needs to judge others self-righteously from the first days of experience and unjust treatment in this world of the same people, from the same type of people. We all develop an identity that naturally reacts to others in the same way that we all experience from others. Again, starting, in our first years. The delusion persists and grows in those who have not been given any true, lasting, maturing love for God's truth. There are many leaders of the church world which speak to the heart and ears of those who seek to settle in their own worldly ways. Those many antichrist ministers speak with smooth words that tickle the ears of worldly desires, beliefs, and ways that work to support the old man nature, filling the buildings made with hands. Church buildings. Like idols. Beliefs that cause confusion, division, and all sorts of arguments, disputes, and debating differences, even self-righteously worse than what an unbeliever, atheist, or agnostic holds dear in their own minds. Trinities of division and confusion. Trinities of division and confusion, exalting Jesus above our Father. Hells without purpose but to serve a revengeful God with no loving mercy, nor any redeeming purpose, and a never-ending torture. And combine that with a powerful self-made God type identity, working out of a free will that usurps the will of God. False beliefs weaken and support the workings of a carnal, beastly identity, which sits in the, quote, holy place, end quote, the mind and heart of who we are, the, quote, temple of God ye are, as if a God unto one's own makings, even out of imaginations. Doctrines of confusion and deceit taught by those, quote, many antichrist ministers who lie in wait to deceive, end quote, appease the worldly ways of one church's business, competing with the other church's business for that limiting resource of more disciples, supporters, and worldly attention, counting the numbers, as if that's an indication of value and support, drives the natural human belief in numbers as proof of their worldly strength and successes, as though numbers of people could. Oh, and all of which have wallets that compel people to contribute for their service, which furthers the delusion. Missing a meeting with a voice and a face would be, you tell me, belief in our Father's inspiration to give and share this time through writing with love's understanding for the purpose of giving to those of our Father's chosen, those who are given a destination in the choosing. ... smiley face. Brings a laughter-like joy inside, especially to those who believe by hearing. Yes, working as it does, as it has, as it will continue to do for those to whom our mutual support is supporting. Salutation. Martin, by what else than Christ? You can't just end a letter simply there, Ryan, you know. There had to be a couple more comments, so it went on after the ending. This is a landline number, so it tethers a person to the home, but in the best of communications way, with a clear and dependable clarity. It does not get lost or die dead, you know, cell phones. And there's the number. It is likely that I do less speaking over the years than anyone you know. It is likely that I do much less speaking over the years than anyone you know. Always have been self-employed, intending towards working the least amount of time on acquiring money to leave time for giving to people, even, of course, by the study, reflection, writing, and focus God gives in order to give. Listening. Always with a smile inside and often bringing a smile or laugh to others, for others, and what is challenging for many to hear. Amid what is challenging for many to hear. And that's always coming, waiting, patiently, listening, and ready for what God gives to say, even to give an answer. P.S. There is a temptation which brings the many so-called ministers, pastors, and whatever other titles that are out there, that has been, and will be. Temptation that leads even the righteous falling a spiritually figurative 7 times, that is. It's been a most tempting and attractive, compelling and subtle, deceptively powerful temptation that's closely in line with pride, of course. Question. Who can expect, think, or believe that we can tell anyone anything new? With any belief that what we say will persuade, convince, or impact anyone in any way, that we might think or believe to be a result consistent with a natural, worldly way of being able to hear or see any impact, result, agreement, appreciation, or understanding at all? I don't believe we can. God gives the increase. God's love never goes out in vain. Who really believes that for what God means this to be? All right, Ryan, any words to share, or thoughts, inspirations during the whole thing? No, but how about now?
That was a lot more than I thought it'd be. There'd be too much. I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. We'll end it then. All right, later.
All right. Well,
Okay, bye.
okay.